He did. He went to jail once before that too because he's on probation, not allowed to have a gun or anything, and he had my grandpa's gun was at his house for whatever reason, and my little brother, my little brother was over at his house, and there was like, oh, he was like just playing in the garage or something, and there was like a fire detector or something weird. There was like loose wires, and so my little brother, saw this, and he's like, thought it was like a bomb or something. So he called it the bomb squad. He called the police on himself, and the police came out there, and they're like, "There's no bomb or anything. There's no threat." But he was saying some other crazy stuff too. It's like, but there is a gun, and you're not allowed to have a gun. And then, so when he went to jail, we started kind of moving some stuff out, and where my dad's chair was, underneath there's a hole, like man-made cut into it, that he was like throwing stuff, like electronics and stuff down. Like my little brother lost his phone, and that's where it was. There was like that, like a VCR play, like all kinds, like that house over on Johnson, yeah.
What?
Yeah, like all kinds of weird shit, like just like random electronics thrown in there. So like again, like he thought like the government was after him, and that there's a bomb in the house. So yeah, he ended up going to jail temporarily for that.
At one point, he went to a mental health place or something like that, and
I want to say that was shortly after.
I don't fucking it. Honestly, it was all so traumatic, and it all blurs together. But I do remember that after that instance, we tried to advocate. So he's mentally ill. Mm-hmm. He needs help. He didn't need to be in prison. And like we tried so fucking hard. I wrote letters to the judge. I called everybody I could call, and he still ended up being incarcerated. And I think that like that speaks a lot about the system, the way that we're so quick to throw mentally ill people in jail instead of giving them the help that they need. On
that subject of like just the jail system in general, not even just like throwing mental people in jail, but also just people in general. Like,
1,000%.
Like you go to jail and it fucks up everything. Like I don't know if you guys have seen that movie. It's on Netflix. Have you guys seen Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
You know Jaime Lannister?
Yeah.
So he stars this movie on Netflix where he ends up going to jail. He got a DUI. He ended up going to jail, and then from having a DUI, he had to join a gang to survive in there, and then became like a full-blown killer. He got out and became like a kingpin or something like that, all over a DUI. Because the way our jail system is, one, with it being privatized, is that there's so much money to be made off more people being in jail. And it's not rehabitual, like you were saying. Like a mentally ill person is not going to get the care and they need, let alone not even a mentally ill person, just somebody who's misguided, somebody who grew up on the streets. Like you throw them in there in this gang mentality, it doesn't rehab people.
And
know?
It's not for rehabilitation, and it's a $5 billion industry.
Yeah, the fact that it's privatized is the biggest
Why
scam.
are we making money off of incarcerating people?
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And, do you know what the 13th Amendment is?
No.
It was the abolition of slavery, unless there's a loophole, unless used as a form of punishment. And so it was after slavery was abolished was that we started mass incarcerating people because the economy couldn't afford not to profit off of this labor.
It's even like we still see it today, even just here in California, when there's these massive wildfires and whatnot. A lot of that help is people who are incarcerated. They are being used as basically free labor, and
even like Target and like so many big brands. As far as the 13th Amendment, there's a really good documentary on Netflix called 13. I recommend everybody should watch it. It's about the prison system and all of that.
But what gets me the most is obviously, like, I'll get into like my moving on from my dad here in a moment, but someone who served our country, someone who got mentally ill serving our country, is not getting the help that they need. So what does that say? That in my opinion, people that we should be holding the highest regards aren't getting the help they need. How about Joe Blow, who has no affiliation? Like, what kind of help are they going to get? And it just makes me wonder, how much they really care, you know?
I mean, you guys said the answer, like thinking bigger picture, which is what you guys just fully did, on multiple different levels and multiple different
Topics.
parts throughout that entire like duo story. You guys killed that story, by the way. That shit was good.
She was good.
Dude, it's just a fucked up system
Yeah.
on all levels.
So
like I really do think at least 80% of the population do agree that putting somebody who is mentally ill, mentally not stable to be in that environment, to be in that situation, I think a majority of the entire United States would agree, right?
It's not helping.
It doesn't make sense. You're gonna come out fucking for sure worse. And like, I also like how you guys brought up, like, dude, like, I don't think the government really cares about us if all these politicians and like big heads are making all this money off of the jail and prison system being like
$5
privatized.
billion a year, over $5 billion.
Jail should be a place for
Getting better.
stable people. Well, yeah, that too.
Yeah.
I guess if you wanted to turn it into that too. I was gonna say for like people who literally should not go out in like public again because they're gonna like strangle people, like rapists and murderers and people that go and shoot up a school. Personally, I don't want those people out in public anymore. But yeah, like the people who are like actually diagnosed with shit, like they need a very that haven't blown up a fucking school yet or some shit.
Yeah, that's the key word. Yeah, because if they can get the help they need,
exactly. The system in question, the system that we were talking about, is the same system that was literally founded after slavery was abolished. This is like the system that we're speaking about. It was literally founded in that. So like, personally, I think abolition is the only option. I don't have all the answers.
Yeah,
I wish that I did, but I do know that the system founded and what it was, like, it can't be reformed. I think that we need to put money, but obviously I don't think that people, rapists and murderers, should be out on the streets. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it should just be a free-for-all, but I am saying the system that we have in place right now
is fixed,
isn't it? And I think it's like we need to defund and we need to put this money elsewhere, like, because so many of the the United States makes up for 5% of the world's population, yet we make up for 25% of the people incarcerated in the entire world.
It's wild.
Which is so crazy to think about. So I think we need to look at, like, a lot of people in prison and in jail, they're not there for murdering, they're not there for rape.
Yeah, if we look at the jail system versus the prison system, for sure, like we said, like rapists, murderers, that's a whole other story. Somebody who's gone to jail for either just being, they were mentally off their meds, and also just like low level offenses, like, it needs to be more of a rehab, not a
rehabilitation.
Yeah, not a punishment.
Exactly.